Hey, welcome back to episode number 161 of the Ask Vishwanath show. It's a beautiful morning out here and I hope you're having a great time. And today we'll speak about 7 days to a happier life. And so this is going to be part 1. So this is part 1 of 7 days to a happier life. What does Krishna and the Great Ones say?
You ask questions and I answer them. This is the Ask Sri Vishwanath show.
Alright, so today's question is from Sean. Actually, we clubbed it from various people who were asking questions of happiness. So Sean says, some days I'm happy, some days I'm sad. I really didn't know how all these things happen. Something happens and my happiness is disturbed. I really don't understand how it happens. I lose a lot of momentum, just shifting from happiness to frustration, sadness, and it affects every area of my life. Health, family, money, and peace of mind. And Sean, that's really a wonderful question. In fact, this is a question which probably is the number one question of life, because this is what everyone is doing, fluctuating from happiness to sadness, and it affects all momentum, achieving goals, happiness, family, peace of mind, and everything. So today, in this part, in this course, we're going to cover all these things very beautifully. So here's what it is. Every person on earth, every animal, maybe every tree, everything is seeking happiness. And so it's very important that we nail this down. We're going to take the help of the great ones, because obviously we have failed as humanity to get to this level, because thousands and thousands of years and still, we don't have a blueprint for happiness, if at all there is such one. So the great ones had, Christ had, Krishna had, and all the great ones. And today, we are going to learn that, master that, and apply that to our life and see wonderful results in 7 days. So that's why it's called 7 days to a happier life. So here's what it is. Now, there are 4 different categories of people seeking happiness. The first is people are happy if their peace of mind is not disturbed. So there's a category of people who are happy so long as their peace of mind is not disturbed, so long as no one harms them and disturbs them, or so long as nothing untoward happens. So there are some people who are happy if their peace of mind is not disturbed. Then there are others who are happy if their goals are achieved, something that they want, either in their relationships or, career or in their health, whatever. So if their goals are achieved, they are happy. So if their goals are achieved, they are happy. That's the second category. The third category is people who are at a slightly higher level, and they are happy if they make a great impact in the world, like, helping the world, doing charity, doing all those big things, or landing in the moon, or whatever, making that big impact in the world, which is greater than the goals thing. It's just because it includes yourself and others. So they are happy if they are able to make a huge impact in the world. And then there's a fourth category of people who, Krishna calls as the men and women of God, who, for them, happiness doesn't start with an if. If you notice carefully in all these 3 categories, the first category is if their mind is not disturbed. Second is if their goals are achieved. Third is if, they could make a great impact in the world. The fourth category of people, their happiness is not defined by an if, because for them, happiness is always for them a choice, which is freely available. And it's never an emotion they have no control over. Very, very important. So this fourth category of people are the ones who have mastered happiness, because for them, happiness doesn't start with an if. Happiness is always is. Happiness is a choice. It's a choice freely available. They can take any time, any want, any number of quantity or whatever it is. And happiness is not an emotion to them, which is based on an if, or which they have no control over. And these people are what we have to learn from, these men and women who have mastered happiness and who have, been great teachers of humanity. These are the ones who have to learn. So these are the 4 people, and we are going to learn from the 4, because for them, happiness is always a choice, it is freely available and not an emotion, it is dependent on an if. So the first question is, what the great ones did is, they knew the source of happiness. This is very, very important. I want you to write this down, because no matter what we are achieving, we got to know the source of that, right? So if you want to we want money, you go to a bank. So if you have money in the bank, right? But if you want to drink water, you just got to know where water is. So you got to know the source of happiness. It's as simple as that, but I want you to take everything step by step. I want you to take this as if you're drawing in fresh water from a reservoir, okay? Source of happiness. You should know the source of happiness. And 99% of the people don't know the source of happiness. That's the reason why happiness, because if you want to drink water, well, people get water. If you want money, some people get certain money, small amount, large, but happiness is always, humanity has been deprived of happiness. So it's very important that we know the source of happiness. That's very important. And so I'll start with the story. I think I shared this story somewhere earlier, but let me share it again. So this is a story told by the wonderful Sri Ramana Maharshi of the South India, sage, very a lot of people know. And he shared this story that there was a sage under a tree, okay? And this sage was overflowing with happiness, joy, abundance, energies, right? You can't fake energy, right? Because energy is contagious. I mean, you can feel it. And you can feel its genuinity for people who have been around him. And so this sage was always overflowing with love, joy, abundance, compassion, gratitude. Name it, he had everything. But he did not do anything. He was always under the shade of the tree. He did not do any action. He was not waiting for any event. He was always in the fourth category of happinesses. And everyone was like going to the sage, was under the shade tree with the problems, with all the stuff, and he would give them various answers, stories, and all the stuff. And then there were other people around him, lots like common people like us, who would go out in the morning into the sunshine and do their work, and in the evening they would return back to the shade of the tree. And so some days they'll be happy, depending on how things went, right? And then some days they'll be unhappy because things didn't work out. But all these people, they will notice that the sage is always happy. What is it with the sage? Because the sage is not doing anything. He's not running from here to there. He's not even involved in any thinking. He's not involved in any action. He's not waiting for an event to happen. So how the hell is he happy? So everyone was puzzled. Everyone wanted to know the reason, because everyone was attracted to him. As to what is this dynamic energy, from where is it coming? Because he's not waiting for any event to happen. Good or bad, he's always happy. He's not waiting for any action. He's not waiting to do any action. He's not contemplating any goals, this, that, and all this thinking. How is he happy? And so here's what Ramana Maharshi said. I want you to listen carefully. Ramana Maharshi says that whenever you achieve a goal, okay, now you take all these three categories. Whenever you achieve a goal, you feel happy, right? Or whenever your peace of mind is not disturbed, you're happy. Or whenever you impact the world, you're happy, right? But Ramana Maharshi says that they are two different things. If my goal is achieved, or if I make an impact to the world, or if my peace of mind is not disturbed, and happiness. Ramana Maharshi says that the moment you achieve a goal, you feel happy, and the reason you feel happy is because your mind has, without your knowledge, fallen back to your consciousness. Very, very important. I want you to listen to this carefully. What Ramana Maharshi says is that events, it means success or whatever we call as good things, and happiness, they are two separate things. He says that happiness, you might achieve a goal and you might think that because you achieved the goal, you're happy. Ramana Maharshi says that is wrong. You are happy because your mind just came back to your consciousness without your knowledge. Now, it might be triggered because of the event, but you achieved happiness because your mind came back to your consciousness. And that's what the sage did without the event, because he knew that this happiness has got nothing to do with the event. Because of our ignorance, we mix the two together and we say that we can be happy only if I achieve my goal. I can be happy only if I impact the world. I can be happy only if my peace of mind is not disturbed. So, for the sage, he knew that happiness is manufactured only in the realm of the consciousness and never in a thought, act activity or event. Very, very important. So I want you to write this down. Consciousness is the only source of generating happiness. And even if you have listened to this earlier, I want you to master this completely. Just write this down for, during this video you're watching it, because we are going to master this completely in this course, in the 7 days to happier life. Consciousness is the only source to generating happiness. If you want to be successful, you got to go out, do all that stuff. That's a different ball game. We'll come to that later. But right now we're talking about happiness. Consciousness is the only source of generating happiness. Nothing else. That's why in this world you'll see many people who are very little and yet they are happy, and there are many others who have everything in this world and they are unhappy, because happiness has got nothing to do with anything happening around you at all. It's very, very important. So those 4 people knew that consciousness is the source. Very, very important, and we'll handle all that. So it's very important to also understand this. They knew that thought, action, event, which people think as being the source of happiness, is not. Because the thought, we saw earlier, is equal to consciousness plus nature of the thought. You see, so if your nature of thought is anger, frustration, immediately the consciousness will appear as being unhappy. So the consciousness is always neutral, but because of your nature of thought will appear. Same with action. Consciousness is equal to action is equal to consciousness plus nature of action. Same with event. So any event has got consciousness plus the nature of the event, and we only see the nature of the event. We only see the nature of the action. We see only the nature of thought. And that's why when bad things happen, we immediately take upon it as sadness, because we catch the nature of these things. And so it's very important that we got to know that consciousness is present in every thought, action, and event. And that consciousness, is easily accessible when your mind is drawn in. That's very, very important. So this is the key, that consciousness is the source, is the only source of generating happiness. And then once you know this, then you can add, anything that you think from this realm of consciousness, action, event will have the flavor of happiness. That's why the sage under the tree, was very happy under the shade of the tree. So you all got to come back to the shade of the tree. That is our source of happiness, this place, this center, and we'll come to that in a minute. So this is very, very important, that step 1 that the sage taught them is, you got to experience happiness without a thought, action, and event. That is what we are going to do. You got to master experiencing happiness without a thought, action, or event. Very, very important. That is step 1. We first master happiness, then we build on our dreams, on our goals, on our success, and then we rinse and repeat. We keep on doing the same thing. So the first step is to experience happiness without a thought, action, event. So we got to draw the mind in. Once we master this, then we build on our dreams, and then we rinse and repeat the same thing. So we get both happiness and success, and that's the goal. So step 1 is experience happiness without a thought, action, event. Now, if we miss this step and we do everything else in the world, which is what people are doing, which is what we have been trained in schools, colleges, people around us, parents, friends, everyone teaches us that it's all, you got to be a master in this thing, that thing, thought, action, event, and what people are just bypassing this step. You got to train yourself to experience happiness without a thought, action, event, because happiness is freely available in the realm of the consciousness, and that's what this 4th category of people did. For them, happiness was never an if, because happiness was always an is. It was never dependent on any thought, action, event. And that's what we got to do. We got to be very, very clear on that. Because when you do that, all other things will follow. You see, patience will follow you. Patience follows happiness. Perseverance follows happiness. Commitment follows happiness. Appreciation for knowledge, all the wonderful knowledge around us, comes with happiness. Humility comes with happiness. Compassion comes with happiness. Gratitude. And if you have this 7, you can conquer the world. But all these 7, patience, perseverance, commitment, appreciation for knowledge, humility, compassion, gratitude, they are not like, things which sort of like looks good on the book. No, all these, the great ones had mastered, because they mastered only one thing, happiness. They knew consciousness is the only source of happiness, and they knew if they mastered happiness, which is step 1, experience happiness without thought, action, event, you can have all these things and more in every single thing. Because if you miss this step, then no matter what happens around you, you will just be going to and fro, tossed between happiness and sadness and all the thing. And you look upon happiness as an emotion of which you have no control. But for the sages, because happiness is always a choice, they can just go and take it, just like drinking water. So once you master happiness, you can have all these things, and that's why we are going to master happiness only. Because once you do that, all these things will just come like this. We don't have to, bite our teeth and know, how do I have perseverance, how do I have patience, how do I have commitment. No, all these things come once you touch this consciousness. Vivekananda, tells something beautiful, and I want you to listen to this. Vivekananda says, I want you to visualize this. A farmer is irrigating a field. And he has from one corner of the field, water coming in to irrigate the field. And then he has got the tiny locks which prevent the water from rushing in, because otherwise it will all be spoiled. And then whenever he wants the water, he just opens these tiny locks and the water comes on its own from the reservoir. So there's no power added, Vivekananda says. All the farmer has to do is to open the lock and the water comes from the reservoir. So the power is already in the reservoir. It's only the locks that sort of stop the water from coming in. And so Vivekananda says all of us have this wonderful consciousness, this wonderful, overflowing happiness at the back. This reservoir, and these locks in the form of the body, mind and intellect, in the form of a thought, action, event, are what is stopping us from experiencing that wonderful happiness. Because see, the power was always in the reservoir. The farmer don't need to open the lock. So the consciousness always has this abundance of happiness. We don't have to generate or create happiness. We don't have to generate anything. Patience, perseverance, everything is embedded inside happiness. All we got to do is to open the locks. And these locks are the body, mind, intellect, which operate through the thought, action, and event. And once we do that, happiness will the floodgate of happiness will be open, and we'll not be able to, we'll be jumping in ecstasy, we'll not be able to know exactly what to do, because all this will be in our hand in minutes. And this is going to be so wonderful. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a very small exercise, because the way we're going to do is a story a day, a message, and then an exercise. Okay, story, message, and exercise. So here's an exercise. Or you take a notepad. And if you don't do this exercise, nothing will happen. As simple as that. So you got to do this stuff. This is what makes it happen. Alright? So I want you to take a notepad and draw a circle. Now when you're drawing a circle, I want to pay attention that you cannot draw a circle without a center. So all circles are reference to a center. And this circle represents your journey of life. And I want you to write around this thought, action, and event. So we start off from one point and we keep going and going until then, and we end the circle, and then another circle is formed and so on. But that is a later discussion. So we draw a circle with a center, and the center represents your consciousness, and this outer circle is your journey of life, all your day-to-day events, all the thoughts, action, event. You move around the circle like this, and then I want you to draw another circle inside, and the diagram is, the drawing is bad. I want to draw another circle inside this circle, and that is called the script. So just stay within. I'm not going to go in detail because we discussed this earlier. The script, you see, there cannot be a scene. The outer circle represents the scene, in scenes in our life, this last outer circle. The thoughts, action, events happening in our life. And there cannot be a scene without a script. So this script is our inner circle, and we don't see this inner circle, we are just moving around. So there's an inner circle, and then I want to draw another circle inside of that script, and I want you to write there gunas. Gunas are nothing but all our impressions which are accumulated all through our different lifetimes. All the various impressions. And some people call it subconscious mind, but subconscious mind is a very dry and very confusing term. It's called as impressions. Impressions meaning anything that you see, hear, or touch is called as impression. So all these, impressions, for thousands and thousands of lifetimes, and all these things are called as gunas. And gunas are divided into three: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Sattvic are the divine one, which you like all those people who want to come back to the center. And rajasic are the one who wants to dominate the outer circle. Okay, the mind going out. And tamasic are the lazy, depressed, always sad, and all those people. So all the impressions, the reaction that we have to the day-to-day events are stored as sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. That's what is guna. So this is the circle, the secret, and we'll not be going in detail because I'll try to have a link where I've explained this in detail. So I want you to draw this circle. Put a center, draw the outer circle, and make it a journey of life, thoughts, action. Inside, draw the circle and say this is a script. And then another circle called impression. So, and then there is a center inside. Now, we are moving in the outer circle, okay? And that's why when bad events happen, we say, oh, I'm happy, I'm sad. But then there are two more circles, which is this outer circle is determined by this inner circle of script. So, there cannot be a scene without script. So, based on the script is our outer circle. And then inside the outer circle is what is called as the gunas, or all our impressions. And it's based on this impressions that this script is formed, and it's based on the script that the outer circle is formed. And what great ones do is, they are detached to the script, to the happening, but they know that they can regulate their reaction because our job is to move towards the center. You see? So the way we achieve happiness, the great ones is, they were always at the center. The sage in the story was always on the shade of the tree, meaning the center. We are all hovering around this outside circle and saying, I'm happy sometimes, sad, and I don't know why this happened, I don't know why that happened, because we don't understand these two inner circles. There's a script which moves the outer circle, and inside the script is the impressions, and these impressions are what form this second circle of script, and which in turn form the outer circle of thought, action. So each of your thought, action, event is all already predetermined, okay? As simple as that. But our job is, if you move towards the center, which is your consciousness, you can almost change every single thing. It's like the whole lens changes and your life is completely transformed 360 degrees. And this requires some work. It's not going to come in a day or maybe whatever it is, because all along we have been going in this outer circle. So our job is to move towards the center. That's the name, that's the game. Okay? So I want you to draw the circle because this is going to be very, very interesting. So the thing is, how do we move towards the center? Because once we move to the center, we attain happiness without a thought and action event, and we get all these qualities, and our energy is like 10,000 fold, right? And how can we increase energy 10,000 fold? We've got to move towards the center. So how do we move towards the center? Here is what it is. The first step towards moving to the center is acknowledging your consciousness. Okay, I want you to write this down. The only way you can move towards the center is to acknowledge your consciousness. You got to acknowledge. You see, now you want to go somewhere and you want to do something important work, you write it down, right? Either in a notepad, or you write it down on your computer, or in your calendar, or in your iPhone, or whatever. The reminder, you said it's a very important thing, right? So the first step is, you got to move towards the center because that's where we can experience happiness without a thought action event. So the way we do that is we acknowledge the consciousness, we acknowledge the center. I'm going to keep it very simple for you, because all you got to do is just follow what I say, because I'm going to make it very simple for you, alright? So here's what it is. Acknowledge the consciousness, step one. And the way we do that is, I want you to write this verse, read it and meditate. Here's the verse. Him the weapons cannot cut, fire cannot burn, water cannot wet, air cannot dry. The self cannot be cutted, dry, burnt or wetted. Eternal, all-pervasive, stable, immovable, everlasting, the self. Eternal, it was there before, now and later. All-pervasive, it's there everywhere. Stable, imperishable, the self reads. Now, as simple as this may sound, if you write this down, just write it, read it, and just meditate on it with your attention on your center. So first draw the circle and then write it down on paper. If you do as I say, miracles will happen within 7 days. Okay, it's very important. So it's not that you just listen and then you forget it. You just got to do, and all I'm asking is 10 minutes of your time. Alright, so write down this verse, read it and meditate. As simple as that. And then the second thing you do is, you're going to hold on to only 5 powerful thoughts in a day. So all that you're going to do, because we got to move to the center. So first step is acknowledge the consciousness. Second step is you got to hold on to no more than 5 thoughts in a day. That's it. We're going to make our life very simple. Even if you have a gazillion, thoughts, impressions inside here, that doesn't matter, because the great ones say that happiness is determined by the thoughts at the surface of your mind. So we are going to have only 5 powerful thoughts at the surface of your mind, and here's how we are going to do it. Now, we're going to do certain things related to your mind. So there are 2 things your mind can do. The mind can, these gunas which are there, these impressions, they are forcing your mind. Now if you observe your mind, I want you to observe your mind. It's like there's something which is pushing your mind out. And that is this culprit, these gunas, which are just accumulated, okay? So there's something which is forcing your mind out and trying to tell it to focus on a thought action event. So there's a force which is pushing your mind out, which is this gunas, which is what we got to destroy, right? To move to the center. And then there's something which is drawing your mind in towards the center. So that is the game of life. There's some force which is pushing you out, and saying you to focus on thought action. And there's some force which is wanting you to go back to the center. And this struggle is the struggle of life. And the great ones, the 4th one, mastered this. And so we are going to master this. And the way we do that is, you do this. So you open your notepad. So there are 3 things you got to do. You got to draw the circle. You got to acknowledge the consciousnly, and then you got to hold no more than 5 thoughts. The way you do that is just, open your notepad and divide the page into 2 and write down, why is my mind going out? So the title is, why is my mind going out? The why is so important, because if we master this, we are going to master most of the things which we want. So very important, very simple. Why is my mind going out? And that is what you will do in the right hand side. Why is my mind going out? So you will say, well, I want to achieve this event, I want to, destroy him, I want to, love him, or whatever it is, I don't know. Why is my mind going out? So it could be because of some event you want to accomplish, because of a thought, because of an action. So you write that down based on an outside perspective, based on a perspective of event, thought, and action. Why is my mind going out? And then on the left hand side you write, why is my mind wanting to come in and move towards the center? Why do I want to move towards the center? Is what you will write in the left. Okay, the left will be, why do I want my mind to move towards the center? And here you will write, why is my mind moving out? What is that force? And that's what you'll do on the right hand side. The left hand side, why do I want to move towards the center? So you can say, I want to experience peace, I want to experience joy. So write all that on the left hand side, very, very important. If you do this why, this is a very critical exercise, because you will know why is your mind going out. And you will know why is your mind wanting to come in. So you can say, I want to experience peace, and you want to experience it. And both these things represent you. I want you to do this exercise. All it will take is 10 minutes a day. Draw a circle, write this verse, and do this one simple exercise. Why is my mind moving out? What is the force that is making me move? And why is my mind wanting to move towards the center? Why? What is it that you want to come? You want to have peace, joy, and write it in very detail. And this day 2 is you will refine this, because if you strengthen the why, you will notice that there are 2 forces which are attracting you. One is wanting you to move towards the center, and one is wanting you to move out. And when you have known these 2, you will easily be able to make this wonderful choice that happiness is always a choice of you wanting to move into your center, and not an emotion when you want to put out, because the mind, something pushing you out is an emotion. Very soon you will understand there's some force which is pushing you out, and you know that I can easily reclaim it. So this is very important. You just write this, and you can email me at free109@gmail.com. And tomorrow, we'll talk about the how and more details. So this is going to be a very interesting side. We try to cover as many stories, messages, and exercise much. I hope I answered you, because you keep asking questions and I keep